The Tungsten mod, an older add-on that could be in for some balancing, sure. However, none of that was actually the reason for showing it off here today. No, I just kind of welcome the idea of a new metal, a new material that could lead to upgraded tools, better weapons, and new possibilities. So thanks Markson, Mr. Gentleman, Zarklord, and Outseeker for doing what you could to realize that potential. And if you are watching it here today, just a few tweaks could really turn this mod into something stellar in this day and age. For you see, the entire mod revolves around tungsten. Duh. And tungsten, at least when forged properly, is one of the hardest elemental metals on Earth. Stronger than many types of steel even. So due to this, there is a simple change that would honestly alter the entire mod for the better. Make the tungsten harder to get. For now, these tungsten boulders spawn in rocky lands and swamps, but are highly abundant. I say lower set abundancy, and perhaps even make the boulders harder to break, and then we'll be heading in the proper direction. Cause you always want things to feel earned, especially if those things are actual upgrades, like the tungsten spear here. I do applaud the fact that we'll come to find that every craft in this mod is either locked behind tier 3 science or certain magic levels, which is absolutely nice. Otherwise, a spear that would deal 51 damage a poke with 220 uses is just going to be a little bit more outrageous than it may already sound. That said, however, make tungsten rarer and even lower the durability a bit, and things would be evening out tremendously. An upgrade to a spear with metal instead of stone, though, count me in. And then we got really cool and unique ideas that just take things a little bit too far, perhaps. Like the aptly named 0 Kelvin suit here. Respect the science, you nerds, or else you're gonna freeze to death. No, your eyes do not deceive you. The durability of this armor is through the frickin' roof, but I guess it plays into its mechanics of actually freezing attackers upon getting hit. Again, a very interesting concept that just needs a little touch up here and there. But what is ice without some fire? The Fire Fleur is next and is essentially a glorified fire poker with its own unique mechanics at play. Hot stuff, literally, as not only can the fire stick of molten metal have a chance to light targets on fire, simply wielding it slowly but surely heats you up to boot. Also, this effect is supposed to apply to when it's just sitting in your inventory as well. However, I think it's a bit broken for the time being. Not bad. It's a great weapon, but at a cost, and that is appreciated. Now, the real reasons for wanting tungsten to be a bit rarer to obtain. The tools of the trade. Tungsten is also notoriously brittle if not handled right, so the durabilities of most everything should be questioned. But the axe, and soon to be pickaxe here, have a unique solution to that potential problem. But before we get to them, however, the axe actually doesn't have that much use, but it does fell fully grown trees in but 4 swings. So there's that. Bump that up to like 6 and I'll be a-okay with it. But now, as for the unique take on durability, with the corrupt cutter in hand, one can attack hostiles with it to slowly restore lost durability on the item. It's not every hit or even every other, which is fine. And if the changes that we've been suggesting here today were in place, this would fit absolutely perfectly. Very, very nice. So, with the mechanics of the axe in mind, can we just expect the same with the Infini Miner here? Yes, although slightly different of course. Because for one thing, the durability of the Infini Miner is far higher, and for another, it takes but 2 smashes to mine boulders. Plus, it actually looks like just about every hit restores 1 use for the thing. So there you go. One pretty much just right, the other, this one, could learn from the other, I feel. All in all, not a bad start. But I'm Batman. No, not random, as yes, we can make our very own Batarangs with this mod. Now, as awesome as that sounds, they may actually be a bit too awesome at the end of the day. For you see, these suckers deal a whopping 151 damage to our targets. Ooh, doggy, that is way too much. However, they are a single-use item. Therefore, you will have to constantly equip the new one every time you want to throw another, but still, that damage has got to come down, even if the metal were to be rarer. Fun idea though. And another fun idea that could use an adjustment, the Tesla traps. I love the thought, and the craft makes sense. However, they are not exactly what one would expect when put into action. For you see, they are merely teeth traps, but with a reskinning. No actual Tesla effect or anything of the sort. They do deal 55 damage, which is actually reasonable considering the materials needed to make them, and they do reset themselves. But if they were actual mini Tesla towers that shocked hostiles and maybe arced between them, that would be freaking awesome. Electrifying, as they say. But as we begin to wind down here, we're gonna notice some outliers. Some perhaps not of the good types of outliers, that is. That said though, considering the age of this mod, the thermal tetrahedron could go either way, honestly. Essentially, and especially because it bloody frickin' uses one for the craft for Pete's sake, it's a thermal stone that simply doesn't degrade over time through heating and cooling. Nothing entirely special. But again, this mod is 5 years old, people. Remember that. And that fact does actually kind of become pretty clear with these last crafts for sure. Not to say that they're bad by any stretch, however, they're certainly nothing overly special. Unless, of course, you count a craft acquiring 4 materials for the craft as being unique, because, let's face it, that's rare, so it is. But the Tungsten fire pit supposedly throws off more light than normal pits. However, it is barely noticeable, if it's noticeable at all. Not too sure if the years have broken it or what have you, but I can tell you this for certain. The thing is hot. Real hot. The Tungsten fire pit easily throws off more heat than most heat sources throughout the game, and even keeps that heat up from a fair distance away. It's as the modders suggested. Use this guy come winter, for sure. The Tungsten hard hat. Definitely one of the least inspired in my opinion, cause it's just a miner's hat. That's armor. And while its durability is absolutely immense, that 50% damage reduction will still have you feeling the hurt for sure. Oddly, the mod page says that nightmare fuel is the only fuel for it. However, I noticed that simply getting hit actually restored percentages. Again, we're talking 5 years here, folks, but it's interesting. And finally, tungsten walls. And yup, you guessed it, they are just walls that are made out of tungsten, and they have very high durability because of that. I personally don't really use walls outside of farms and or boss arenas, but still, they look quite nice, so wall it up, folks. And I guess wrap it up too, because there you have it, everyone. The Tungsten mod for Don't Starve Together. As I said at the start, the mod has absolutely great potential, and the implications of something along these lines are grand. But it all starts at the top. Things need to be more rare, more difficult to craft, grant incentive to use them, while making us weigh the options and you name it. Again, thanks for all those involved in making what we got here today. It truly was fun to just play around with a new mineral for once. And thanks for watching, folks. Well wishes to all. Show some metal love, and I'll see ya in the next one. Bye-bye.